Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe.
Yes. You see it. Yes, the man is here. The man has blessed us. Columbia, South Carolina, stand up. Manning, South Carolina, stand up.
Stand
I have
up.
a guy in the building. But before we get to him, because trust me, we're going to get to this dude. Let's pay a bill first. The first bill, take care of us. Thank you, Lord and Savior, for waking us up this morning, okay? So if you are watching this podcast, the Community Vibes podcast, that means you're blessed because God woke you up this morning. So give him thanks, okay? Give him all the praise because listen, without him, there's no us, okay? There's no us, okay? He is the reason for the season, okay? Now, the second bill that we gotta pay is, you know where we at. Yes, you hear the music playing in the background. We're at the Groove Smoothie and Juice Bar. Yes, on Garners Ferry Road, 7510 Garners Ferry Road. Now, what kind do you have?
The shake you down.
He has the
Blueberry,
shake down.
banana, yogurt, almond milk,
You see
and
it.
I added strawberries. Shout out to Trey for hooking me up. Hey, if y'all haven't been to
Trey.
Groove,
Yeah.
and
Come
I'm
by
not,
that Trey,
I'm
man.
not
I'm
ashamed to
telling
admit it. This is my
Best-
first time at
best
Groove,
smoothie maker in the world.
and it will not be my last. I'm looking forward to the Northeast location. I'm speaking that into existence.
Speaking.
So, in order for that to happen, I'm sure we need y'all to come here. Support the Garners Ferry
Some
location.
of y'all out there right now, you're drinking, you know, doggone sodas and tea. Get some smoothies in your life, okay? Health is wealth, all right?
Support a black business today.
Support black-owned businesses, okay? Thank y'all so much once again for tuning in because we have another special edition, another special episode, man, of my brother. He's just not my brother, he's my friend, okay? My friend, my frat brother, okay? Q Psi Phi to the day I die, okay? Listen, man, huge salute to Zai, okay? Now guess what? Yep, Manning, listen, you gave us one. You gave us a legend, okay? You gave us a legend, so we have to give a huge round of applause to Manning, okay?
Shout
Just
out to
for
my
blessing
hometown.
us with this king. Yes, king, because guess what? Not only is this man a king, his last name is King. We're talking about doggone legend himself, Craig King. Give this man a round of applause, man.
Hey,
Round of applause.
Tuck, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Chopping it up with
Absolutely. Community Vibes Podcast. Look, I've been checking you out, Tuck, and you know, Tuck is a good friend of mine, like he mentioned. I have been seeing this brother do work. When I told my daughter this morning I was coming to the podcast, and she was just like, "Oh, he spoke at our event with the Delta Gyms or whatever." When you came and spoke to them last year. So you see that impression that you made that one time.
Wow, man.
You know? So
listen,
if I'm a legend, you are definitely a legend.
listen, man. Hey, you know what, man? I'm here because he's here. Why? Because maybe about 3-4 years ago, y'all had an event, a impactful program that the Brook had years ago, where it was you speaking, Kyle Green, and Curtis Thomas. And
Saving Our Boys.
listen,
Yeah.
that was a phenomenal event. But that program right there really changed my life because that kind of gave me the courage to be a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To come out and really tell my story. Okay, but it's not about me today. It's not about
It
me
can
today.
be tough.
It's not about me.
Okay,
today.
all right.
It's about this guy next to me. Now, he has so many titles that I can't really call out because we'll be here all day. Okay, but I'll let him get to that. But my impression of him is first of all, he's a phenomenal man. Okay, period. First off, he is an educator. Okay, a advocate for education. Okay, has been for many years. Okay, and he's a father. Yes, he's a father and he's a husband. Okay, I'm telling you, just checking the list off, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He's also a survivor. Okay, so we're also going to get him. We're going to talk about that also, because once you hear this man's story, trust me, do not send me no DMs saying, "Hey, we want to talk to Craig." No, you're going to contact him. He's going to give you his contact. Okay. We all come from struggle. Okay. We all have some kind of testimonies, okay? But this guy right here, man, he's been through so much, yet he's turned that, right? He's turned what he's been through, right, into nothing but greatness. Nothing but greatness, okay? And he's also an author. So we're gonna talk about his book also, okay? First off, my guy, Manning, South Carolina, man. What does Manning mean to you?
Wow, that's a great question.
Because there ain't nothing but kings down there. It's nothing but kings.
You got Kingville,
South
and
Carolina,
Manning.
man.
But the first thing I think about is family.
Wow.
My roots run deep in the soil, literally in the soil of Manning, South Carolina, where our lineage is comprised of farmers, educators, ministers, homemakers, directors of food service in schools. I mean, just there's so many things that are part of my lineage.
Right.
I shared on a recent podcast with a good friend of mine, Kim Smith, whose podcast actually drops today.
Salute to Kim Smith.
That I was so fortunate to come from and see so many positive male examples.
Right.
My father, grandfather, cousins, uncles, I always saw a positive image of a man, one, taking care of his family, two, providing for his family, and three, just being a great man in the community. Not just being a father inside the home, but also being a father outside of the community. And so when I think of Manning, I not only think about my lineage, but I think about the other families that come out of Manning. It's funny because when I travel and I meet people, I can always find somebody that knows somebody from Manning, and they have a positive experience. And I'm not saying that's not the same.
Not me. Not to cut you off. Craig King was my first positive experience from Manning, South Carolina. Why? Yeah, I'm about to speak on it.
Uh-oh.
C.A. Johnson. We would always come down to Manning High School and play Manning High School, and always leave with a 50-0 L.
It was probably a King playing.
Why our athletic director kept scheduling Manning beats me. But we would always lose horribly, okay? Because they had grown men out there with beards and mustaches, with gray hair out there.
And they're all checked out. No, they're all checked out. All of them.
We had to do some research. Manning High School, you're on notice. I'm going to snitch. I swear to God, I'm going to snitch.
Nah.
Right. But, back to you. I'm sorry.
No. That's funny. I knew it was going to be something with sports. Now, Manning, we known for some sports.
Known for it, man.
Yeah, so when I think of Manning, South Carolina, matchless for hospitality and beauty. If you drive into Manning, that's the sign that's what you see, our phrase that we use when you enter into Manning, matchless for hospitality and beauty. Okay. It's a welcoming place, so many different great people. And so, family. Yeah. I'm going there this weekend, man. Me and my brother's going to get up together, and we're going to remember my father who passed away 2 years ago this Sunday.
Salute to that.
Shout out to Thomas King. And so he was a great man, and his nickname, Tuck, was Judge. And so growing up, I didn't like when people used to call him Judge, and I just thought it was just a nickname somebody gave it to him or whatever. But as I got older, I saw how people gravitated to him for advice, for guidance, for counseling. He was a mild-mannered man, but was always fair. And so that name Judge really, as I got older, I realized the importance of it. And I'm just proud to just carry on his name.
Hey, let me tell you something, brother. If you meet this dude, you're gonna call him Judge. I promise you, man, because this guy, I'm telling you, he is a subject matter expert, okay? I'm telling you. Now, you left Manning, South Carolina. Yes, you did. You left Manning, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And you went to the illustrious, illustrious South Carolina State University. Why South Carolina State University?
It actually goes back to Manning. I look at my lineage and all my family that decided to pursue studies at South Carolina State University, including my oldest brother, Carlton King, who went to SC State. And it always felt like home. It always felt like a place where I needed to be. And so, my 4 years that I spent there were some of the best years of my life. Met some of the best people I've ever met there. And so knowing that I wanted to pursue education, outside of all of that, South Carolina State is probably the #1 producer of African-American educators in the state.
Hold on. Say that.
We have to check the numbers.
Listen.
We can check the numbers.
Somebody didn't hear that.
South Carolina State University, and so the quality of professors there, Mr. Fleming, Dr. Hicks, so many.
Call them out.
So many.
Yeah.
So many that just poured into me, that I still have, relationships with to this day.
Yes.
It was just phenomenal, man.
Yes. So we know that South Carolina State, gave you the tools that you needed to be successful.
Yeah.
But you already had greatness, deep inside of you.
Sure.
And then he decided to join the greatest fraternity ever. Omega Psi Phi. Why Omega Psi Phi?
Yeah, and I saw my brother, my oldest brother Carlton, who plays Xi Psi in '91, fall of '91.
Old school dog.
And my first cousin Nielsen, prior to last year, I believe, was the last hop master of Xi Psi that actually won a step show. So prior to last year when we won it last year or the year before last.
They don't give me.
It was recent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was so prior to that. My first cousin Nielsen Hilton, he was Xi Psi 90, and so the lineage of Xi Psi and Omega Psi Phi was prevalent in my life, and also I saw how great of men they were.
Wow.
And just based on my own research, the dedication to community service, with Xi Psi and Omega Psi Phi fraternity, it was easy for me to join. And, when I joined, I hit the ground running. Got us involved with Relay for Life.
Action.
Ended up being, Citizen of the Year, undergrad, doing some great work. And it wasn't just me, just empowering our brothers, joining with other fraternities and sororities on campus, doing pickups and things like that. So, yeah. Shout out to the Qs, man.
Q Psi Phi to the day I died and he died. Listen, now South Carolina State gave you this real nice, shiny award years back. What was that?
I received Distinguished Alumni Award from our illustrious university.
You're probably wondering how he actually got that. So let's talk about his resume real quick, just so you'll know why Mr. King was given that incredible honor. Now, when you finished school, you went to grad school. All right, got your master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. Okay.
Yep.
Salute Dr. Staten.
Dr. Staten.
Dr. Hollis Staten. All right.
Yep.
Now, you got into the education field, but you didn't just become a teacher, man. You became a huge leader, right? Talk about that process. Leaving school, right? Now you are one black male, teacher who, when I was growing up, we didn't see that very often.
Right.
Okay. So you were highly sought after, correct? So when you left grad school, talk about your process to that world.
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as I graduated from undergrad, I started teaching at Orangeburg at Whitaker Elementary School. Shout out to the Whitaker Wildcats. And I taught there for 7 years. During my 7 years, like you mentioned, went back to school for rehab counseling, and I always get the question, or sometimes get the question, why didn't you pursue a master's in education?
Wow.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, the work that I was doing, and I'm gonna go ahead and go there. We hadn't gotten there yet. I'm currently a 20-year cancer survivor, and so it was important for me to have some education that could back up, that could support me in that work, because I'm a volunteer at Camp Chemo, which is a children's oncology camp for children with cancer. And so in those 7 years of teaching, I love education. So those are my two passions, education and cancer awareness. And so I know for a fact in those 7 years, Tuck, that I changed the trajectory of a lot of our, not only boys, young black boys, but young black girls as well. I know I changed their lives because I'm seeing the fruits of that now. You know, I have I believe Gabriel is a sophomore at South Carolina State University in music education. I was on the campus last year, and Gabe came up to me and he said, "Like, Mr. King, you're the reason why I'm becoming a teacher." Wow. And he started impact. Now, let me look. This is where I knew. This is one of the many instances where I knew that I was making an impact. You know, he started singing chants that we sang in the classroom at that time, telling us how he learned the types of rocks in my class and how he made it engaging. Now, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the lessons that I learned in elementary school, Tuck, you might be different. I don't remember, and I had phenomenal teachers. Shout out to Clarendon too. I had phenomenal teachers, and I remember some of those lessons, and I remember the lessons from those powerful teachers. And so it's amazing how he was able to share those things with me and share I'm the reason why he became a teacher. And so it's all connected. It doesn't start with Craig. So someone had to have influenced me to be able to pour into him. So it's all about building on that legacy of somebody else and including your part in it. Exactly. And so, I became a teacher, decided to major in rehab counseling because I knew that degree was going to serve me in counseling children with cancer. And little did I know, not only with that, for the past, I think, 4 years, I've been leading a session at the Children's Hospital for parents who have children diagnosed with cancer. Wow. And so a lot of the techniques and things that we learned in that program with Dr. Stat and our great professors there, I was able to apply working with these parents who are facing probably the toughest challenge of their lives, having a young child diagnosed with cancer. So,
man, now you see why he's so phenomenal. Okay, but we haven't really got to his true testimony. Okay, he kind of touched on it, but now we're about to really learn his true testimony. Now, when you was at Manor High School playing football,
football,
your life changed.
Yeah, actually, Tuck, it was kind of in the process. So I noticed the lump on my left leg, on my left, right below my left kneecap. There was a small bump that started growing over the course of my senior year, and over the course of my senior year, it got larger and larger. I played football my senior year. We actually went to the state championship. I played in Willie B. We didn't win. We lost to Daniel 34-27.
Daniel pretty good, though.
Well, they was good.
Pretty good.
We was up 21-10 at halftime. But that's not the point of the story right now. You can tell I'm still a little salty, but it's all good. But anyway.
That's good for
we went. Hey, I knew you was going to like that story. Yeah. I cried all the way back. But anyway, back to my story of survivorship. So the tumor grew and grew. I ended up playing baseball that summer. That year as well, my senior year. Didn't play the previous 3. And the summer after I graduated high school, the tumor was pretty much about that, had that circumference and was about that high off of my knee. And you would think, why didn't you get checked out? It really wasn't bothering me. The only noticeable symptom that I remember, Tuck, was when we ran sprints at the end of football practice, or we ran poles. Anybody that plays baseball, y'all know about running poles. You went from left field pole to right field pole and back, and that's one pole. We used to run poles, and I used to be dead last. And in football, you have adrenaline on game day, so I didn't really experience fatigue. You can take those breaks between plays, and you got offense coming on the field. I played defense. Shout out to the dark side, man, in high school. Weak side linebacker, 55. Recorded 6 tackles, 1 fumble recovery. But anyway, I wasn't that good, but I was role playing.
It's all good.
Yeah, But anyway,
y'all beat us.
We beat y'all. So that summer, Tuck, I was doing something my mom always taught me to do. I didn't really like doing it all the time, but I did it. I was making my bed up. I hit my leg, on the bedpost on that tumor where it was. I didn't know it was a tumor at the time, and it hurt bad. Popped some Tylenol, didn't work. Parents took me to my family doctor. Family doctor had no idea what it was. He said it might be a blood clot. So he referred me to a doctor in Florence, South Carolina. That doctor didn't know. Now look, I'm 17. 2 doctors, did something that saved my life. And you may be thinking, wait, man, Craig, you probably should be mad at these doctors because they couldn't tell you what was going on.
Right.
But you know what they did? They said I didn't know. I don't know. They said I don't know what it is.
What?
That's powerful, because if they would have said, "Oh, it's nothing. Just take some pain medicine. It's nothing."
I got what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so sometimes we have to look at how we respond to situations when someone doesn't know an answer.
That's true.
That can open up the reason what's really going on.
Right,
so anyway, finally,
that saved your life.
That saved my life.
Right.
Because you lean on doctors for their knowledge.
Right.
And so finally had a biopsy from Dr. John Eady here in Columbia. Told me it was bone cancer. I remember to this day, my mom and dad and I sitting in the hospital room, and my mom, the first thing she said after the doctor said I had cancer, she said, "Craig, it's a small bump in the road. You'll get through it."
That's good.
I'll never forget that. And
nothing like mother.
When mama says something's gonna be all right, even though I know,
right,
she was probably thinking, "Wow, my baby has cancer. What's gonna happen?" But for her to exude that confidence and that faith, it propelled me through probably the hardest 10, 11 months of my life, going through treatment, going through surgery, almost dying twice. I had a chemical reaction to one of the chemotherapies where my temperature spiked to like 104, throat swelled up. And in movies where you see like people have these flashbacks right before they are about to die, and they have flashbacks of their life. Yeah. And when you see that in the movies, you don't think that's actually true, but that happened.
Not at all.
I saw visions from my childhood up until when I was 17, flash before my eyes, just moments where that happened, and it was crazy. And so I had limb salvage surgery on my left leg, where I had to learn how to walk again after the surgery, and then I had chemo pretty much from July until July of '99, August of '99, all the way until May of 2000. May 2nd, 2000 was my last drop of chemotherapy. My surgery was supposed to last on my leg 10 years, but I've gotten 20 years out of it. I've just been blessed, man. God is amazing. God is amazing, man.
Listen, if you don't believe in God, listen to him then. I'm telling you, he is a living testimony on how good God is. But he's also a living testimony on how it is so important to have family support.
Yep.
Okay? Words of affirmation, man, is so important. I promise you, man, because listen, whenever my mom, whenever she tells me something, for some reason, your boy believes it for some reason, okay? Man, she can say, "Baby, the sky is green." You know what? The sky is green, mama, because you said it. Yes, my mama said it, okay?
Nobody can convince you otherwise.
Mama. We gonna fight. But I'm telling you this, man. This man here, listen, he is a living gift to us, okay? Because he is blessing so many people, man. Kids and adults like myself, okay? Now listen, you do so much work with the Cancer Society, correct? What all do you do so far with them?
Yeah, so one of the first...
You got the camp.
Yeah, so Camp Chemo is oncology camp I mentioned earlier. I've been a counselor out there for 20 years. So went there as a camper 1 year prior to becoming a counselor.
They love this dude too.
Yeah, I love Camp Chemo. So I work with the 5 and 6 year old boys and girls, the Peanuts, who have cancer. Previously, I worked with another age group. When I initially beat cancer, I did a lot of work with the American Cancer Society. Did a lot of work with them. Recently, Camp Happy Days. And in 2010, I had my first Celebration of Life Gala in Manning, South Carolina. I think my first 3 galas I had in Manning and the last couple I've had here in Columbia, where we raise funds to help people impacted by cancer. So it's benefited the American Cancer Society.
Too.
Yeah,
huge support.
So collectively, all of our work, and I say our because it's not Craig. You know, it's family members, friends that have supported our vision of the gala, as well as all the things that we've done, and we raise over, I would say now, over $120,000 to help various organizations.
Impact.
Yeah.
Impact. All right.
So
turn your tragedy into victory. I'm telling you, man. Impact. You see what I'm saying? This guy is making a difference. Okay. He's changing lives. Okay. But he's saving lives also. That's key. All right. Do not forget that. All right. Now, you heard about his testimony, but guess what? Yep. We're not done. Yeah. You tired? You tired? Guess what? We're not done. He has this. Yeah, look at it very closely, very closely. My guy is an author, okay, of a phenomenal book, okay? I purchased it. I loved it. It has done me a huge, listen, your boy has benefited from this book tremendously, okay? But now it's time for you to benefit. But he has to tell you about it first. So let us know about this book.
So, The Path to Exceptional Living, 15 Lessons to Living an Extraordinary Life.
15 lessons.
Published it in 2018, and this book came about because all of the lessons and stories that I benefited from family, friends, complete strangers, they all carry meaning. They all carried this leadership element to it. Whether it was from my grandmother, from my father, from good friends. All of this is in this book. And Tucker, originally when I was struggling with, do I write a children's book, a leadership book, a memoir, I just decided to start writing. And this book came about, and it's special because it's all about tapping into those everyday experiences we have.
Facts.
The principles of leadership never change.
Right. That's key.
Positive affirmations, the law of influence, adding value.
Right.
All of those things are interwoven. If you look at any leadership expert, they embed the principles of leadership in their own creative way. And that's what I did with this book. But I wanted to make it very practical where a middle school student could read it, the CEO of a company could read it, a teacher could read it, anybody, a community leader could read it and look at the nuggets that I've put in here and gain something from it. There's a lot of
nuggets in there too.
It's great. And I'll highlight one.
Can you talk about one?
I'll talk about one. You'll appreciate this one. So one of my exceptional lessons, I don't call my chapters, I call them exceptional lessons. It's called Be a Bridge Builder.
Real big.
I know you,
I like that. You already know.
Shout out to the bridge builders. And so the concept of being a bridge builder, I already understood because of experiences that I've had in the past and people who have built bridges for me that I have crossed because of their sacrifice and their leadership. And so one day when I was working at the State House, shout out to Department of State Teachers Association, where I serve as Director of Teacher Leadership. Since 2011 until last year, I was Director of Governmental Affairs. Transitioned to a new role of Director of Teacher Leadership now, so shout out to PSTA. So at the time, I was on my way to a meeting at the State House. It was raining something terrible that day, like it's probably going to do today. And to get to this meeting quickly, I knew I had to go down this alley. But I also knew, based on previous experiences, that I was going to get wet. My socks and my shoes were going to get wet because it floods pretty bad in this alleyway. And so as I was walking down the alleyway, Tuck, I noticed someone put like this little bench in the middle of the puddle. So it allowed me to safely cross over without getting my socks and shoes wet. Now, to the average person that's not looking for leadership principles and everything like I do, they would have just kept it going bam, I'm gonna cross this and go.
Right.
But when I crossed, I looked back, I took a selfie, which you'll see in the book. The only picture in my book is that picture of the bridge where somebody left. And I immediately thought of this. How many of us are building bridges for people to benefit from that we don't attach our name to. So this person was not standing at this bench that you say, okay, hey, I built that. Make sure you pat me on the back.
Right.
Now, the Community Vibes podcast, that's a bridge that Tuck is building. It's important for us to know about Tuck being here, having guests on. It's important that his name is attached to it. But it's also important because I know the things that he does off camera, that he doesn't post. It's also important for Tuck and people like me and anybody else to build bridges for people and not necessarily get credit for it. Because guess what? That's still part of your legacy. Even if it's not attached to your name.
Say that again.
Because
please.
it's unselfish.
Say that again one more time.
I don't even know if I can remember it because that just came
that
off
was
the top.
good though. That was good.
Like,
that was good.
How many of us are building bridges that don't have our names attached to it? It's important because it's part of our legacy. Like, a lot of people think of legacy and say, okay, all right, I left this amount of money for my children, which is important. I wrote this book, or I started this program, or I did this podcast, I did this. Those things are important to have your names to. But what line of things can be attributed to your legacy that may not have your name attached to it? And you're okay with that because you're helping somebody else. It's important for us to have those nuggets. And so in that exceptional lesson, I talked about leaving those bridges that don't have your name attached to it. Exactly. But also I do address the importance of having your name attached to some of the bridges you leave because, you know, we can't have a Community Vibes podcast without Tuck.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to write a book and not have my name attached to it.
Facts.
You know, I like making money too now. Don't get me
You
wrong.
better
I love giving back to the community.
Bills.
But yeah, you have bills to pay. You have things you want to accomplish and things like that. But
know your worth.
Know your worth, but also know the importance of giving back to. Exactly. So that's one little nugget in here. But I talk about my dad in here. I talk about the speed of influence, how influence can happen in a moment, but how also influence can happen over time. Sometimes there's a singular moment you can remember that influenced you for a lifetime. Like that moment, it only happened one time, but it influenced so many things over time. So I talk about, I'm going too far. Tell me to stop.
No, go.
So I talk about what influenced my philosophy of teaching. 2004, I was at a conference with Dr. Stephen Peters. Shout out to Stephen Peters, Dr. Peters. And he said, capture, inspire, then teach. Okay. 2004, not even teaching yet. That inspired my whole philosophy of teaching. And then I think about the speed of influence that happens over time, and I talk about multiple people, but I talk about my dad. My daddy had a steady stream of influence over time. There are people in your life that are going to always be there that you want to, they provide a steady stream of influence. In a lot of cases, it's your parents, it may be a best friend, it may be a motivational speaker that you follow. It could be a great man like Tuck that he is consistent, not perfect.
Not perfect. By no means.
But it's consistent. If you look at the trajectory of Terrance Tuck, right? I'm going to call you Tuck. Terrance Tucker. Yeah. But Terrance Tucker, there is a consistent stream of influence that he provides me. Like, it's not just a moment. Like, this is not the first time we met. But sometimes complete strangers can provide that influence that happens in a moment. You never see them again, but something they say or do inspires you for a lifetime. Yo, I can go through, but then you went by the book. Yeah. If I told you everything, you went by the book.
Don't tell them nothing else.
But I want to say this now, Tuck, before I forget, and we'll say it again before we wrap up. You know, it's important that, you know, all of his listeners out there subscribe to his YouTube channel. First of all,
please subscribe.
But when you visit my website, craigkinggroup.com, make sure you put in the Community Vibes in the coupon section, promo code, and you'll get 25% off your book. So
we giving discounts.
We giving discounts. So you got to use the Community Vibes.
Community Vibes.
All together, all capital letters. Yeah. All capital letters, all together. Community Vibes.
Listen, man, no other podcast is doing that. I promise you. Listen, you heard it right here, man. You heard it. So I got two more things for you. Okay? We know how important the Brooks family is to you. Okay, so we also know that you do a lot for the Brooks, right? Especially, well, let me see. especially with the kids ministry, correct?
Yeah.
So how has that been for you?
Yeah. So, and you know, just like you pay bills at the beginning, we thanking God and we thanking Groove. I'm paying some bills right now. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Hazel King. Beautiful wife. Because she is interconnected with my work with the Brook. So in I've known Pastor Sim since college. You know, he received his master's degree along with us in rehab counseling. Shout out to Pastor Sim.
Pastor Sim.
And so I knew about the church when I moved to Columbia in 2011, visited a couple times when they were in the mall, and finally decided to join officially in March of 2013. The first thing I did, I said, Pastor, I want to get involved with the children's ministry. Guess who was the director at the time of the children's ministry? Tasia King. Well, Tasia Wilson at the time. And so,
at the time,
hey, I joined the children's ministry because I
wanted
to serve God and the kids.
Yeah.
And so we worked together very, very closely in our ministry, and I became her assistant, and then she was just amazing, man. I just saw how her love for giving to children. At the time, she was a teacher in Richland School District 2, and we started dating, and
this man's getting
1 + 1 is 2.
Nothing but points right now.
1 + 1 is 2, and then we got married, and I was the beneficiary of having an amazing daughter.
Amazing.
By way of our marriage, Sanaya. She is so talented, so gifted. And also an entrepreneur. Right now, right? Yeah, she just launched Glam by Sanaya.
Glam by Sanaya. Go tap into that.
Currently selling lashes. Follow her on Instagram at _Glam by Sanaya, SANIAH. And even in the midst of a pandemic, we're still serving our kids by providing virtual content where we're recording our services for our children, for our Sprouts ministry online. If you have children that are pre-K 4 through 5th grade, you can request to join our Brook Columbia Sprouts Facebook page.
Please join.
And every Sunday at 11 a.m. you can see our worship experience. Yesterday, my wife just recorded the next couple of Sundays. And so
tune in.
Yeah, so the Brook is really important to me, but it's important for me to tie in my wife and Sanaya because it's all connected. And
that makes you though.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, man, he's a family man, a huge family man. We need more guys like this guy. That's why he's here, to motivate you guys out there. How can I get in contact with you?
Sure. So my email address is info@craigkinggroup.com altogether. info@craigkinggroup.com. My website is craigkinggroup.com. You can follow me on Instagram at CQKing or Craig King Group. Follow both of them.
Follow both.
Follow both, as well as on Twitter, same thing, CQ King and Craig King Group. And you can find me on Facebook as well at Craig King Group LLC and Craig Q King.
What are your titles?
What do you mean?
Because he got like 30 titles.
No.
Guy got like 30 titles. Okay.
Husband.
Yes.
Man of God.
Yes.
Father.
Yes. The director of
Director of Teacher Leadership, Department of State Teachers Association. If you're an educator in South Carolina,
get at this guy.
I invite you to join PSDA. We would love to have you as a member. Also CEO of Craig King Group.
Exactly.
Author, motivational speaker.
There you go.
Community activist and all those great things. Author. Son,
I got one
brother.
more question for him. One more question before we wrap it up.
Yep.
One more question. I ask all my guests this question. Every last guest that I've had, they have had to answer this question. All right, you ready for it?
I hope so.
You ready? You eat chicken wings?
Oh yeah.
You eat chicken wings?
Oh yeah.
When it comes to chicken wings, do you prefer flats or drums?
I'm gonna get in a whole lot of trouble answering this question. Based on what I've seen on social media as the popular, but that's not my choice.
What is it?
My choice are the drums.
You see why I love this dude?
The drums.
See why I love this dude? The drums run the world.
The drums,
right?
man.
You flats, you're weirdos.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because
These
let me
flat
tell you,
lovers,
because
you
usually the
weirdos.
drum has a round circumference, a little
More
bit, you
meat
know,
on it.
and more meat on it. And when you scoop it in the dresser,
just,
it's gonna roll over.
It's just going, and you just,
You know,
pow.
the flats, you know, you got to break the bone.
Too
you
much.
Yeah,
It's too
it's
much
just
work.
one hand.
Yeah, it's too much work. I told you that you flat lovers, you are weirdos, man.
Yeah.
All right.
The drum.
Weirdo, and we're gonna have you drug tested. Okay. Thank y'all so much, man, for tuning in, man. Thank you, my brother.
Thanks, Tuck.
Man, for just, man, blessing my seat right here, man. This is truly my brother, my friend.
No doubt.
Okay, somebody who motivates me, who inspires me, and I hope that he inspired you today and going forward. Okay, follow all of his social media. Okay, because I'm telling you, you will be impacted. Okay, positively. All right. Listen, this is another great show of the community vibes. Okay, because guess what? Your community is the foundation for the nation. All right. So listen, get out there, right? Hug somebody today. Okay, give somebody one huge tight hug because we're going through so much right now. All right. So let's love each other. Let's stop the hate and let's love each other. Okay. Let's work together. All right. Let's be bridge builders. Okay. That's important. All right. So let's swallow the pride. Let's come together. Let's support each other. All right. Once again, man, stop by the groove. All right. Stop by the groove. It's already drunk out here almost. Stop by the groove, man. 7510 Garnish Ferry Road. Okay. Thank y'all once again, man, for tuning in. We'll see you again.
Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. You say you won't shine, come get your shine on. You say you want vibes, come get your vibe on. Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. Hey, you say you won't shine, we'll get your shine on. You say you want vibes, we'll get your vibe on.